over there.
Right.
So we evacuate. Well, no, we didn't evacuate. I went to the fantasy football draft. If you look at these casinos, we had a casino. They're dockside, so they're on the coast. They're on the
Okay.
water.
Okay.
So I remember draft was huge back in when fantasy football. So we go to a draft the night before we were supposed to evacuate, and I went to two. I actually won both leagues that year
Really?
too. Uh huh.
Congrats, congrats.
But anyway, so then I get up Sunday morning and I board up my house, between lows, and it's chaos. So you know how here with snow days, how stuff's flying off the shelf. I love that hype. I call it the hype. I love it. I live for it, man. It's so cool. People are like, oh, nothing's gonna happen. I'm like, I don't care if nothing's happening. I like this hype. Everybody's scurrying, scrounging, trying to get stuff.
It's
So
like when
I'm
you put a little water on an anthill. They just start scurrying around.
yeah. I'm geeking. I live for
Yeah.
it, man. I don't care. I hate the negativity around it. I mean, it's all part of it.
Yeah.
So I guess I do like the negativity. Like, oh, it's just some snow. It's just some ice. It's just whatever.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. Give it to me. Bring it on. I'm here for it all.
Nice.
So
nice.
anyway.
So you have kids?
Yeah, Chris is at the time, Chris is 15, 2000. Yeah, Chris is 15, Cameron's 5, and Kel is 1. Because again, we didn't know what to really expect. One part of us were going to stay. So then they have what's called this contraflow set up on the interstate systems where everybody's evacuating. This thing's growing, it's getting big, it's just getting ready to destroy some stuff. So we didn't end up leaving until Sunday evening, Sunday night, going to a 2.5 hour trip that took us 6 hours.
Wow.
We left about 8 that night and didn't get to my cousin's until 2, 3 in the morning. It was a long drive. I mean, just traffic bumper to bumper.
Yeah.
So we get to my cousin's and we go to sleep. Storm hits, and New Orleans is what they're showing, and New Orleans is spared. Okay, cool. We didn't get any footage on the coast for like 2 days, and the governor flew over the coast, and you saw them images, and then the floods hit.
Yeah, when did the levee break?
The levees broke. I think that Monday. That Monday,
So you left Sunday.
Sunday, yeah.
You get to Jackson Monday morning, early
Yeah.
Monday
Well,
morning.
yeah.
And
Sunday,
then Monday morning is probably when the levees
Monday
broke.
afternoon.
Afternoon? Yeah.
We got footage of it breaking. It probably broke, and we got started getting footage of it Monday afternoon. And so
It's
I'm
pure
like,
devastation. I remember seeing those and just watching
yeah,
all the houses just being flooded.
yeah.
There was just trash floating, people floating. I mean, it was just bad.
Yeah, it was just, and for me, in my mental capacity, it was two events. So you got that flood event, which that was just awful. I mean, because
Right.
of a man-made mistake, whether they intentionally did it or whether it was an accident. I don't know if I believe.
Hold on. Let's talk about that for a second. So, you working in city planning.
Yeah.
What do you feel happened there? Do you think it was negligence or do you think it was like a willful negligence?
I think it was, I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know what to think. I don't know if I would be privy to knowing. I wouldn't be privy to knowing that.
Right, and I'm just asking
Yeah.
more
No,
opinion.
no. I'm
you know,
saying.
yeah, yeah.
I'm just saying. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know, but I do know that if you fast forward to 2010 when we had a flooding here, I do know that the Corps of Engineer they relieve pressure on the dam system, and it will flood certain areas on intentionally. And these are, I mean, this isn't like they tell you when certain areas are going to flood. They have floodways, so the floodways will flood, and it may cause a 10-year, 50-year, 100-year, 500-year flood in these areas, and that's intentional. So in New Orleans, did they use dynamite to relieve pressure on a rising, they sit in a bowl anyway. Did they do that on purpose? I don't know. I mean, there's evidence that says they did. There are theories that say they did, but again, my first mind that says there are more good people than bad people in the world tells me that yeah, a barge that probably wasn't tied up ran into a levee. That's what I lean toward rather than the conspiracy theory. I
What about
just
the conspiracy theory that they just weren't um, maintained? Like the maintenance wasn't done on them. They didn't pass the testing to take that amount of water, to take that amount of pressure, and the city just kind
the
of neglected it
sewage
because
and
it's a
water
big cost.
board.
You know.
Yeah, That happened because again we go through. I mean, New Orleans flooded in '95. It flooded in Hurricane Betsy. I think that was in the 40s, 60s. I can't keep up, but in the '90s, I mean, the so the big thing in New Orleans are the pumps, Sewage and Water Board, which is a private entity that control the pumping stations to pump the water out of the city. Well, those stations were evacuated. I mean, people evacuated their posts, and so the pumps weren't running. So there's nobody to control the water being sucked out. So I mean, negligence, just a lot of. I think there's a lot of man-made errors that caused flooding for
Not the
one.
one bad apple.
No, I don't. That's too strategic. That's
Okay.
just too. I mean, I don't think that's just too calculated because who knew that New Orleans was gonna get that amount of water. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, I just think that's just too calculated and to be such a coincidence.
So you lean more. It could have been a barge that wasn't tied
Just think
correctly.
it's
and
man-made errors
it's
that
man-made
caused that
errors.
devastation. I had to. I work for the local transit or transportation planning agency there on the coast, and I had the GPS infrastructure, red light, stop signs, anything the federal government could reimburse the cities on. I had the GPS, so I was riding, smelling that stench. I mean,
Mm.
you had bodies and you had food, and I mean, if you can think of the worst, apocalyptic. I mean, it was the apocalypse. The only
Well,
thing
the
missing.
French Quarter already stinks. No, just kidding.
Well, the French Quarter didn't flood though. They were still open. If you,
We're still open.
yeah, if you wanted to drink in New Orleans, you could go to the Quarter.
Wow.
I think it flooded a little bit, but I mean, bars and there was people that hunkered down in
In
the
the
French
quarter, huh?
Quarter. Yeah. My sister-in-law saw bodies floating in New Orleans. She passed it, and it's like another. You know what I'm saying? You
Right.
become desensitized to it. Just big swollen, just sat, in the water or
Right.
whatever, causing bodies to bloat. My sister-in-law had to sleep on the bridge because um, they had it blocked off,
Oh.
and she couldn't. She waited. They say they're gonna let people in this day, but because the roads were just destroyed with trees scattered about, bridges torn. You saw New Orleans. I mean,
Yeah.
Slidell. There was no access. Only Lake Pontchartrain and I-55 were the only ways you could get across to get into Kenner,
Oh,
Manor,
okay.
and New Orleans.
Oh.
Three-lane bridge across the lake.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
gone.
Really?
That was zone. They had if you were in the zip code, you could get some getaways, some getaways free. So you could go to the beach in like Fort Walton Beach free, Gatlinburg free. And I took advantage of it. I mean, a lot of people didn't know about it, but I was out. We went Christmas shopping over there. We stayed free. You could be on the come up. I mean, people were on the come up. Like y'all some hustlers. Y'all would have made some money.
Scrap metal. No, I'm just kidding.
No, y'all would have made some money working down there. I mean, it was people that didn't have, high school, diplomas or whatever were making $21 an hour, 7 days a week, all the overtime you could get. I mean, making bank.
I had a friend did roofs, and he
Mhm.
said like right after Katrina, they headed straight down there with every truck and
Mhm.
everything they had.
Mhm.
They filled their trucks with shingles, with plywood.
Yeah.
Went down there, and they were just like slinging
Yep.
roofs.
Yep.
And they weren't even collecting money right then. They had to wait like 2 or 3 months for insurance to pay, but they knew they were going to pay good.
Yep.
And they did. I mean, they did as many as they could.
Yeah.
Stayed there for 6 months, I think.
Yeah.
Just
Wow.
slinging
Maybe
roofers.
longer.
Maybe a little longer. That's when they started. They started getting a little tighter on like,
FEMA.
FEMA and all that,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
they ended up leaving. Everything started coming back. The businesses, local businesses,
Uh-huh.
had kind of built back up and
Yeah.
everything, so they weren't the
Yeah.
only ones,
Yeah.
putting roofs on.
Disaster management was the thing. If you had a truck and a bobcat or something that you could get trees and trash off a street, that's who. Hey, they got bank, and then electric utility companies, electricians and stuff.
Tree
Yeah.
climbers and all
Yeah,
that,
tree
pole climbers
cutters
and all
and
that.
stuff.
Yeah.
Brother-in-law up. They had what they call the getting places. So when I say that, they had churches, they had all type of civic, places giving away mops, brooms. People, youths from out of state sending in everything because of the devastation. Because
Yeah.
malls, everything is gone. Pampers, everything.
Okay.
So we were able to stock up on everything your donation sent us. And it sounds like I'm saying we took advantage of it, but we had no idea paychecks would roll in. We had no idea when, people
When Walmart's gonna stock again,
when
right? When I
Walmart
mean,
Walmart
yeah,
was gone.
yeah.
It
So
was
yeah,
what Walmart? And
I
so
remember hearing that Mexico had sent like 100, no, not maybe not that many, like 10 semi trucks that were
mhm.
water processing trucks that could take dirty water, salted water, anything, and turn it into clean drinking water.
Shout out to
And
Mexico.
Bush stopped them at the border and
Of
didn't let them
course he
come.
did. Kanye West said George Bush hates black people. I don't think that, but but